Darci and I headed up to the cabin this past weekend, and I gotta tell you, it was fantastic. Despite that it was going to do some raining while we were there, and frankly, every spring is kind of our spring cleaning. We try to get stuff situated, but you know, anytime we get up to the cabin, it's just awesome. I know I've said it in many of my videos, but if you're not getting out into the woods, whether it's camping or just going to a park or going to a cabin in the woods, you really got to do it. It's good for the soul. It really is. Once we got into the cabin, I just flicked the power on because all I got to do is turn my inverter on and all my power comes on and we're set. And with the work that I've done on the foundation around the cabin, it stays a lot warmer in the cabin these days. So we didn't even fire up the wood stove this weekend. We did use our backup propane heat, but frankly, we didn't really need much heat at all, even though it was only in the 60s during the day, and I would say low 60s, and at night it was in the 40s. It was still nice to have a little bit of heat, but we didn't need very much. And as usual, as soon as we got there, Darci started cleaning up because she always says that she's my cleanup crew. Because when I'm at the cabin, I'm always working on something. I'm burning slash, I'm trying to work on my sawmill, something like that. And it's, you know, she gets a little irritated because there's a lot of dirt on the floor and things just aren't that clean. So she started right away. But we had a really nice evening Friday night. And on Saturday, I got up, got the tractor running, and I went out and I started getting ready to burn slash, but gosh, the rain was just coming down and I finally decided to heck with it. I set up so that I could get burning slash on my next visit, but it was just too much rain. I said to heck with it. And so after I got done with doing the tractor work that I was doing, we just kind of hung out in the cabin. And honestly, because we use Starlink, and this video is not sponsored by anybody. I'm not telling you to go out and get anything else, but if you're wondering about Starlink, I got to tell you, I used to use HughesNet, and HughesNet frankly wasn't very good, but I could watch a little bit of TV over satellite internet, but not very much because the bandwidth was really low. So if I watched something on the internet, which is all we really do, then frankly, I'd burn up my bandwidth right away. And that's why you might notice that there's two dishes still there at the cabin. One was for my HughesNet internet and the other one was for satellite TV. Now, neither of those have been used in years. And so I finally got Starlink last year and it cost me like 50 bucks a month, originally for 50 gigs, then they bumped it up to 100 gigs. So this trip, I decided, since it was working so well, that we would take a Roku device up with us, and if it's rainy and everything else and we just want to watch a movie, we could do that. We got it all hooked up Saturday night, poured ourselves a drink after dinner and sat down and picked a couple movies to watch. And it worked flawlessly. In fact, we didn't hardly use any bandwidth. It was awesome. Then on Sunday morning, I decided that I really needed to get out and fire up the sawmill because I haven't been running it a whole lot in the last couple of years. And I've got all these logs to mill because we were fallen trees as part of a DNR forest thinning project. And so I've probably got 100 logs I can mill up. And about 40 of them are sitting right there in front of the mill, decked up, ready to go. So I thought, well, I'm going to run my sawmill the next trip out, which will be at the end of the month. So I fired up the sawmill, and while it's sitting there warming up, I thought I should run the hydraulics. And in order to run the hydraulics, I got to move the head back to the far end of the mill, and that means pull everything off of the rails that I use to protect them, to keep them from rusting in the wintertime or anytime I'm not there. So I pulled all that off and rolled the head back down to the other end and kind of moved things up and down and around and all that kind of stuff just to loosen it up. And there was a log sitting right on the forks for the sawmill. So I went ahead and I thought, to heck with it. Why not just load up a log and set it on the deck? Good for the hydraulics. So I loaded the log up, put it on the deck, and then I went, you know, the bark's really kind of coming off on this log now because it's been sitting there for a year. I should peel the bark off. So I peeled the bark off, and then I thought, what the heck, I might as well get a band and just run the head, and I'll make a D-log real quick. So that's what I ended up doing. I went and got a band, got it on the mill, got everything tightened up, lubed up, and everything ready to go, and then just zipped down that log, made like maybe 4 cuts, turned it into a D-log. And I got to tell you, it was really awesome to get back on the mill and run it again. But on my next trip, I will be running my sawmill to get some D-logs made for the additional cabin that we plan on building, as well as some 2x6 and 2x8s that I need to make because we are going to add to the cabin. So for those that are interested in the cabin stuff and the sawmilling stuff, more of that is going to happen this year than has happened in a while. So look for that. We'll definitely do some of that here coming up. Meanwhile, I I've got to tell you a little story about my big battery mules. I've got three 24-volt big battery, they call them Mules, 120 amp hour batteries. Now, I bought those batteries about 3 to 3.5 years ago. They were $1,200 a battery. And I bought them because it's an American company, they're supposed to be American made, and they've got a 12-year warranty, and I thought, these are the last batteries I'm going to buy for the cabin, period. I'm not going to do any more. Once this is done, the only other things I might do is upgrade some solar and maybe change out my inverter, but that's it. I have no future plans, at least I didn't. But I've been having trouble with these batteries, and one of the things I noticed fairly early on with them is that each of the screens on the batteries was not showing the amperage the way you would expect it to. Meaning that if I'm charging with 50 amps, well, each battery should have a third of that approximately going into them. But I would see one showing 25 amps and two showing 0 or something like that. And it never seemed to be they were always the same. Sometimes they were, but a lot of the time they weren't. And so I finally took up an amp clamp earlier in the year, and I tested everything out, and lo and behold, even though the screens were showing 0 amps, they were actually drawing a third of the power that they could to charge back up, whether it was solar or from my generator. So I reached out to Big Battery and I said, hey guys, I got a problem here. They're not reading correctly. And after talking to them, they said, no problem. We will send you new screens for those batteries. All you got to do is pop the old ones out, pop the new ones in. So I got the new ones and I tried to install them. Now, to be honest, I didn't take the tops off the batteries like I probably should have. It looked like you could just pop them out. And so that's what we did. And they did pop out, though they actually all broke at least one tab doing that, which was a bit annoying. I popped them all out. I popped in the new ones. One of the new ones also broke a tab going in. So that was kind of annoying. Got the new screens on and they didn't work at all. Put them on. None of those screens are working. That's very disappointing. Big Battery can have those back. You're a terrible cameraman. All right, that's good enough. No voltage, no amperage, no nothing. They simply didn't show anything at all. They were dead. Well, that was pretty disappointing. So I put the old ones back in, which still worked at least to show me voltage and some of the amperage. So the batteries are working, but the screens aren't. And I went back to Big Battery and I said, hey guys, this didn't work. These screens are dead. So what can we do? Well, after some conversation with them, they told me, well, you can send us the batteries and we'll fix them. Well, I got to be honest with you folks. I don't want to send 3 80-pound batteries through truck freight to Texas to have them fix these batteries. And I am really disappointed in this. These are $1,200 batteries that I bought myself that have 12-year warranties on them, which is part of the reason I bought them. I mean, that's a great warranty, but the fact that I would have to ship those batteries back to them in order to get them fixed means I wouldn't be with power. I mean, I could take a power station and set it up and run it that way, but that's all I could do. And I'm very disappointed with that. So I guess the message here is perhaps anybody looking at Big Battery products, they do have a good warranty. And you can talk to them. You can call them up and talk to them. You can email them. You get responses fairly quickly. They're more responsive than anybody else I've dealt with, frankly. So I do like that about Big Battery. But the fact that I've got 3 batteries that they discontinued, so they can't just send me 3 more, and that I would have to actually send my batteries to them to fix them is very disappointing. And with the price of batteries today, I could take my 2 hump sink batteries that I've got that are floor mount batteries, and I could take them up to the cabin and stick them in and use those, except in order to do that, I'm going to have to get a new inverter. And I even have an inverter that I could install. The problem is it doesn't have a remote. And where all my power is at my cabin means I would have to get into that back room to turn the inverter on. And I haven't seen any of these all-in-one systems that have that option, though it looks like the EG4 may be the answer for me. So I am looking at buying an EG4, the 6000 XP for the cabin. I mentioned that in a previous video about what I would do today, and I do believe that's the unit that I'm going to go with because it's just going to make life a lot simpler for me. But again, it's got to have a remote because I don't want to go up to my cabin in the middle of winter when there's 2 or 3 feet of snow covering that back door at the cabin that I'm going to have to shovel out at 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night when I get up there just so I can get into the room and turn the power on. And I don't leave my inverter on because of inverter idle time. If it runs too long like that and the batteries die, then my fans shut down, which keep the heat circulating in the back room and therefore prevent my batteries from getting too cold. First world problems, I guess, but it's what I'm dealing with at the cabin. In any case, on this trip, I went down and I checked them out again, and they're just doing the same thing. I actually had my generator running because it had been raining, and I thought, what the heck, I might as well run the generator for a while. It's good for the generator just to exercise it every couple of weeks, so that's what I do. I don't really need it with the power that I have, but it's very frustrating that these expensive batteries that I have are not reporting amperages correctly, and that the only solution from BigBattery Store is for me to ship them back to them. Frankly, that's probably going to cost me like $300 or $400 to do. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. And I would be without them for however long it takes to ship them there, get them fixed, and return them to me. Not the greatest situation, but either way, it is what it is. And I am looking at doing the EG4 because it has Bluetooth, and the thought is that I would be able to turn the inverter on with that Bluetooth function. And if that's the case, then that's the way I will go because it will take so much solar. I won't have to have separate charge controllers. I can run my 2 solar arrays into it, no problem. And that's what I'm looking at being able to do. And I am upgrading one of those solar arrays. In fact, I have a Victron 15035 charge controller that I'm going to be setting up with 3 new 400 watt bifacial panels on my ground mount setup, so I've got a little more power. And that is all for me to be able to move to the EG4 mini split, because that's actually what's in the future. Now, we are doing an addition on the cabin. I'm adding a 10-foot by 18-foot master bedroom and an 8 by 10 kind of dining room space as well. We plan to get that done this year. We've just made plans with the builder that's going to do the work for us because I can no longer do it all myself, but I can mill up the lumber, so that's what I am going to do. So if we get all that done, we're going to see about installing that EG4 mini split, and I want to have a little bit more power so that I can run that comfortably all summer long without any worries. So that's the next step there. I know that most people are watching my channel for the power side of things, but you know what? I built my channel on sawmilling, and who knows? Maybe I'll do some more sawmilling videos. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching, and thanks to all my members. I really appreciate your support. I'm going to drop another video right over here for you to check out, and if you're curious about the sawmilling, I'll drop a playlist here of a bunch of sawmilling videos that I did. I used to be the most active sawyer in Eastern Washington. I love doing it. I drag my sawmill behind my camper, get out into the woods, and turn logs into lumber. It's a fantastic thing. I love it. Anyway, folks, time for me to get busy. Y'all have a great day. The old Jarhead out.